Hey, happy day. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 1108 of What's She Up To Now. Today I want to talk a little bit about reactions. Day 9 of our Get Up and Go challenge, number 6. It's actually the 6th 30-plus day Get Up and Go challenge that we've done since 2020 and the COVID pandemic hit. And today we're talking about your change reaction, how you react to changes or challenges or obstacles or setbacks or things that happen that you're just blown away by because you're so surprised that they happen. You're like, I can't even believe this happened. How do you automatically respond or react or deal with situations like that? You know, we all behave in positive and negative ways based on the situation, based on the challenge, based on the change, and how much of an impact it had on us. And part of understanding and creating a process that will guarantee we have the best results after a change or challenge than before is by understanding, what do we do naturally? What have we done in the past? What's worked for us in the past? And maybe sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. That's what our current way of dealing with the situation is. We want to look at that before we can determine how could we improve that reaction? How could we make sure that we are creating a situation that will be in our own best interest? So reacting to things, how do we react, how do we respond, is the topic, or was the topic, of today's Get Up and Go challenge. And our homework is to look at, when an event or something happens, what's our initial emotional reaction to that? How do we initially feel? What's our initial response emotionally? It's always emotional first, and then we can decide, is that a positive, a negative, or a neutral emotion that we're feeling? And then once we look at the emotion, we have to ask ourselves, and this all happens at a subconscious, instantaneous level. What does it mean to us? What does this mean to me? What does this change or challenge mean to me right now, in the short term and in the long term? What do I do? What do I need to do? What should I? What do I need to do? And do I need to do anything right now? Or do I have time? Can I buy myself some time to respond and react and actually formulate how I want to respond or react to this situation? It gives us an opportunity to ask more questions, get more information, find out more facts, understand what we need to understand about the change to make sure we're setting ourselves up for the best situation for us coming out of that change or challenge. Can I put it off? Do I need help? Do I need resources? Do I need other people's input? How have I dealt with a similar situation in the past? Have I ever experienced anything similar to this in the past? And then how did that work out for me? Is it even my responsibility? Is it up to me to do something about this? Or is it something that I can just, something that happens, if stuff happens around us all the time, that's none of our business and that we don't need to get involved in? Is it urgent? Is it important? Is it necessary? Or, we have to ask and answer all those questions for ourselves before we know how to respond. But so often something happens, we respond emotionally, and then we behave in a way that we haven't even considered because we don't realize that we have other options than just emotionally exploding about something or emotionally getting super excited about something. So reaction, love to know your reaction and what your change reaction is. What is your change process? What's the system or the process that you go through? We all have one, whether we are aware of it or not. At a subconscious level, we all have a series of events that we go through, a series of steps or questions we ask or things that we do whenever we're faced with a change or a challenge. And today is all about figuring out what that is for you. And there's lots of easy ways to do that. Number one, you just go back to and you think through in detail different situations that you've been in when you've had to make a decision or have a reaction or have a change or a choice. I mean, all of us can go back to COVID-19. I mean, a lot of us can go back to 9/11. What were you doing? What did you need to do with respect to the events of 9/11? What were you doing? What did you have to do? What did you have to think about? What did you have to consider with respect to the changes for COVID-19? We're coming up on the 1-year beginning anniversary of the COVID-19 pandemic, at least for us in America. And it's a good time to reflect and go back and say, okay, well, what did I do in the last year based on this massive global change and challenge that, millions of us are facing simultaneously? We want to understand, what was our reaction? What did we do well? What could we do better? What do we want to continue to do moving forward? So I love the whole question about reaction because my family, when I was a little girl, would always tell me to pop the cork. So that's the kind of person I was. I was always very volatile, very emotional, react fast kind of little girl. And so even when I was a little girl, they started saying, "Oh, Sherry, pop the cork," because they called me Sherry. And, of course, that elicited a very negative emotional response from me, because nobody wants to be told, pop the cork or calm down when they're already upset about something. So you can imagine about how well that worked out for me. So that was the original thing, though, that my family did, because they knew I was going to explode and have a reaction to certain things, especially change and challenges and things when I was a little girl. So it was, pop the cork. Well, popping the cork didn't really get the response I wanted. It was just to shut me down. And maybe the best reaction for you isn't to be shut down. So we're going to explore and figure that out today. The grass is always greener on the other side of the hill, or the fence, or the road, or whatever was the topic of Supersize Your Business today. So it was talking about comparison, FOMO, fear of missing out. Turns out there's actually a syndrome called GIGS, G-I-G-S, that is grass is greener syndrome or something, where you're always comparing yourself to others and you're believing that somebody always has it better, or you always have it worse than everybody else. It's kind of a big old giant victim mentality that I was really surprised as I was researching the idiom and the origin of it. I did not realize there's actually a name for it in a syndrome. And I think it's probably because there's so much social media fakery, by the way, where people are comparing their life to other people's made up or maybe real highlight reel, but it's always their highlight reel. It's not their everyday real life. It's like watching a sitcom or a movie and being, putting yourself in the place of the heroine and then comparing yourself and your life to them. You're only seeing a little bitty teeny snapshot of what really goes on. And if we remember that, we realize that, we don't ever want to be compared to other people or living in vicariously through them or living in their shoes. If we put ourselves literally in their shoes, we would realize that everybody at every level in every situation has their own problems and challenges and crosses to bear. We all do. People always think, well, if I just got this job, or I was married to this person, or if I, had this opportunity or whatever, that I would be happy and my life would be better. And it just isn't so. We are as happy as we decide to be right now. And we are as successful as we decide to be right now. So that was our idiom for today. And of course, it's an idiom from 43 BC in other languages, but it's in the Bible. I mean, I think there's a commandment about that. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife or something. So come on. It's something that's been around for so many hundreds of years. It's a belief and it's a thought and it's a feeling that's ingrained to us. So when we catch ourselves comparing ourselves to someone else or being envious of their lifestyle or their new car or their house or their new outfit or their new watch or whatever it might be, we just have to remember we don't know what they had to do to earn that or to become that business owner, to become that person. And that's our job. Our job is to just become the best version of ourselves all the time. That's our purpose in life, is to experience this life as only we uniquely can. And if we're doing that, there's never any need to compare ourselves to other people about anything. We just keep going about our journey and doing the best we can. That's the expectation of, and that's how you live a good life, is being grateful for what you have and always moving toward what it is that's more of or different that you want. Not fun challenge today. Do one thing every day that centers you. Our 365-day challenge this year. We're on day 40 today, so you'd think I could stop saying fun challenge from 2020, but I'm still a little bit shell-shocked by the new year. But it was all about unbirthday and what is something that you could give or receive as an unbirthday present. Just an ordinary day. How could you make someone's life, and how could someone else make your life just a little bit brighter, a little bit better? I think we talked about sunshine yesterday, so a little sunnier and more filled with light instead of doom and gloom. Now it's very, very cold where I am, but I see the sun is now shining. It was snowing earlier today, so that's pretty interesting. But what could you do? So we've got reaction, we've got jealousy and gigs syndrome, we've got centering and unbirthdays, all sort of unrelated topics today. It's kind of fun when there's a day where everything's just kind of unrelated. That's it. I am working on my regular stuff. Get Up and Go challenge for the month of February, a little bit into March, and then we'll see what's next. Doing a book review for somebody and You know, for me with my eyes, it's a little more challenging for me to read a book, but I blow it up on the big screen TV and just read it on my computer. There's always a way to do whatever we want to do if we're committed to. If we commit to doing something and we say we're going to do it, we figure out a way to make it happen and do it. At least I do. So working on that, working on a challenge, which I am a little behind on for reasons that I could use as excuses, but I'm not going to because I know why I'm behind. I just need to catch up. All right, that's it. If I can help you in any way, hit me up in the comments below. Ask, direct message me, whatever. I might not know the answer, but I probably know somebody that does. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow to just let you in on my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world. Have an absolutely awesome day.